Hello, my name is METİN Arıdaşır. This is 412th part of explanation of my theory. Pseudo constants of dimensionless physics. Elementary charge, fine structure constant, Rydberg constant, etc. First of all, I recommend you to watch my previous videos about fine structure, about elementary charge, about Rydberg constant. Right? Search engine, Arıdaşır, fine structure, etc. Thank you. Is it only at the subatomic or atomic level? No, even at the molecular level, physics in general and quantum physics in particular is dimensionless and lacks the ability to discriminate. This is because it assumes the electrons it studies to be dimensionless and identical to each other. Therefore, these fake constants like elementary charge, fine structure constant and Rydberg constant are obscuring the truth. In both classical physics and quantum physics, wavelength of light is not inherent to the electron's essence. Electrons, the sources, unique sources of light. They propagate, they propagate consecutive waves, and they produce, if they are connected with proton, single wave pulses, spectral lines. In first case, wavelength is concerned with the oscillation of the charge according to accepted dimensionless physics, and in the other with the wave of probabilities of the charge's location. Fake constants of dimensionless physics, fine structure constant, Rydberg constant, elementary charge, etc., based on mystified quantum physics, dimensionless and identical electrons assumption. According to accepted physics theories, electrons are dimensionless point-like particles and they are identical. This means that electrons in an atom do not have radii or wavelengths. If it were so, how could the ground state energy of an electron in a hydrogen atom be 21.8 10 to the minus 19 kilogram meter square per second square? If the wavelength of ground state undisturbed electron was not 91.155 nanometer that I put forth, that would be plugged in E equals hc divided by lambda formula. You cannot calculate or predict a single spectral line without knowing or ignoring the wavelength values of the electrons in atoms. Yes. Calculating the spectrum of only hydrogen atom using the Rydberg constant is simply a result of an unconscious coincidence, because this constant unknowingly contains the wavelength of 91.155 nanometer, the ground state electron in a hydrogen atom. 91.155 nanometer wavelength is the wavelength which represents a three-dimensional electron for a single proton in a hydrogen atom, that hidden in both fake constants, fine structure and Rydberg constants. And this wavelength is determinative for both of them. If the wavelength were zero, there would not be any definition for them, since hc divided by 0 would be undefined. Moreover, for each kinds of atoms, for multi-electron atoms. Each electron in a multi-electron atom has different wavelength, and I have computed and explained before. I recommend you watch my previous videos about these subjects. There is no identical electrons in multi-electron atoms. Okay. For instance, here, fine structure. Follow, please. Yes. Yes. And my unit is constant, etc.